Well, hello there. What's going on, everyone? It is Saturday, and boy, oh boy, was I busy today packaging up items and getting them ready to go. Um, Unfortunately, not all of them are finished. The good news is everything that has been purchased both at the con as well as live yesterday and Thursday is officially boxed up and ready to go. What's up, Trevor? How you doing? Is ready to go. It's just a matter of printing out postage and getting them there. So the good news is the hard work is done. The easy stuff is all that is left, in addition to whatever we sell today. I have a couple of goodies to go over with everybody today. For those who saw yesterday's stream, oh, where do we even begin? What's going on, Lee? Sean, two amazing artists side by side. Rubutu, what's up with you? Yesterday was fun. We got to open a lot of Super Break product and some good results, some bad results, but ultimately the bad results were hilarious. And I think that's the best way I can put it. It was a lot of fun to open and we got a laugh. If you did not see yesterday's breaks, do yourself a favor. Head over to our YouTube channel. I believe it might have saved on Twitch as well. What's going on, Don? Sean's just back from a con. That's always good. What's going on, Steve? How you doing, buddy? If Maddie might not be there, when she gets there, tell her I said hello. Do yourselves a favor, hit up our YouTube channel, DCD Collects, and jump to where I'm starting to open stuff. And you will see probably two of the funniest boxes that have been opened since the Tuck box. Going on, Johnny Rotten. Hope you are well as well. Hope you are well as well. Let's try that English again. I hope you are well too. And one of the things that came out of it was actually a not a great box. I mean, let's call that spade a spade. But there were two really funny items. One of which I wanted to try to make a deal for. Are we going to Emerald City Comic Con? We're actually talking about it. Well, there are a few things on the table. I don't want to tip our hand, but there are a couple of cons that we've been discussing very seriously. There's been a lot of products that are underway in development and almost done for us. I'm from a technical standpoint, I want to point out I'm very excited. I have my Stream Deck working, so now everything is just a push button. Which saves me from having to point and click on everything. But I have to announce a deal has been struck. One that I am personally excited for. Bourbon hit two extremely funny cards. One of which, to me, has a ton. What's going on, Gentleman Built? How are you doing? For those who don't know, if you want to follow a really good page, Instagram, Gentleman Built, he's living the life that you guys wish you were. If you like cars, you're going to like his page. Gentleman Built on Instagram. We got to run into Gentleman Built. He actually grabbed a couple of items from us at the con. Amazing human being. I highly suggest that follow. And that's DC the Breaker talking. News and views of DC the Breaker are not necessarily those of DCD Collects, but I can argue that this one is agreed on by them. So I had shown off a Tom Hodges original sketch that I had won while I was at the con. And it's awesome. It's a Din Djarin Mandalorian sketch. Tom Hodges Oh, you're welcome, man. Thank you. Tom Hodges, big artist, especially Star Wars, very well renowned. Um, so a trade was made. Bourbon now owns the Tom Hodges original art, and I own Flavor Flav. Yeah, boy. Yeah, that the story. I collect stories, and the story behind this rookie card is amazing. Because I was hyping up this blindly as, oh, the first two items were not good. This one's gotta be great. And sure enough, Flava Flav stared us in the face when we opened it. You need to watch the video. I'm telling you, it's worth your time. One of the jokes is some people tend to ask me, I need to get this a necklace. I need to hang it from right here. If this was a PSA 10, I would give it the full Charizard 10 treatment. So you got to watch the video. I'm telling you, the video is worth watching. If you are not feeling good, if you're tired, if you're sick, if you just are not having a good day, just watch the video. You'll see. It's great. So this, I am now the proud owner of this right here. And when people ask me, what do I do for a living? I tell them I work with DCD Collects. I am, in addition to the ideas, I'm the face and the hands and the voice. And basically, I tell people I'm the Flavor Flav of DCD Collects. So that adds an extra layer of me wanting this card. Because that's how I've described myself as a component of this company, is I'm the Flavor Flav. I'm the hype man. I'm the guy that with the plan when it comes to laying out the voice and the breaks as far as visually. Trevor is the amazing person who makes the videos amazing. But I'm kind of like the Flavor Flav as I've described it. So that is there. We are out of Super Break product. However, there is DCD Collect products. There is some more Bowman first edition on the site, dcdcollects.com, as well as additional DCD Collects items, and even some Topps Platinum Anniversary. If you are looking to jump into some baseball cards or original art. Speaking of original, I was digging around looking for this, and I finally found it again. This is something that Trevor has heard of but has never seen. There is a comic book. Let's talk comic books for a minute. There's a comic book out there that I think is fantastic. It's called 8 Billion Genies. 8 Billion Genies. Again, this is an opinion piece, to each their own. It is, I believe, an 8-part series. It's only going to be 8 books. And it focuses around, and I won't give spoilers. I'm just going to give an overview, one that you could find online by simply looking up the title. What if every person on the planet was given a wish? And it talks about how many people are on the planet, how many wishes it is, and they're saying it's 8 billion people, 8 billion genies. 8 billion wishes. So I jumped on the first issue because I liked the concept. It seemed cool. And I grabbed a bunch of variants of the first. And then the second issue came out. All right, wish to steal all the other wishes. Well, it's funny. I'm not going to get into it. But that type of malice is actually, there's a set of rules. You got to read the comic. It's really worth it. So anyway, the second issue got delayed because there was a printing error. No content errors. Just it was printed too dark, and it made it difficult for people to see some of the artwork. So they scrapped them. They told them to destroy all of those. You can find them online. They're between, $25 and $100 a copy. All it is just darker. There's no content change, as I've researched. But sometime during that second week that came out, it was optioned by, I believe, it was Amazon that optioned it for a film/series. As it was being optioned, when it was still new news, I was sitting in my local comic book shop, Pulp 716, back in Lockport, New York. Shout out to Pulp 716. When I was living out there, and somebody had called and asked the girl, or, "Do you have any of the promo issues?" And she walked over to the stand, says, "We have, 10 copies of issue 1, if that's what you're looking for." He said, "No, there's a promo issue that came out before issue 1. Well, that perked my ears up, because if somebody's calling looking for it, that means I need to find it. It's kind of my job. Sure enough, a little sleuthing turned this bad boy up. This is a special preview of book 1 that was limited to 500 numbered copies and sketched by Charles Soule. I don't know if it's Soule or Soule. I would call it Soule, but I'll probably be wrong. And Ryan Brown. Brown did the art. Soule did the story. It's probably Soule. We'll go with Soule. Hey, Charles, reach out to me. I know you're watching. Let me know how to pronounce it. You got my number. So all of them were sketched. And this one, I believe, is numbered 153 out of 500. I'm not taking it out of the bag to show you. I'm sorry. But the cover is, and it's going to be hard to show you, but it's this like a tactile finish. So as you can see, it kind of fogs up the ink a little bit, because it's a thicker, really nice quality. Oh, he is absolutely the writer of a ton of Star Wars. That is correct. So I was able to, they wanted, I was like 175 for it. I think I best offered it like 130. I came to about 140 after everything, tax and shipping and such. But I had to have it, because since I had all of the issue 1s and a bunch of issue 2s, I had to get the preview issue of 500. Well, this bad boy is between 300 and 500, depending on the number and condition. So talk about an instant increase in value. I also have, now that I'm thinking about it, another little gem. Which I should have had more handy. Of course, I bring my stuff to work, because this is part of my job. But while I was waiting and trying to collect as many 1s as I could, something popped up that was too good to be true. Now, this was picked up by Image. As you can see, the big difference right off the bat, the preview was done by 3D Cowboy Comics, whereas the regular one got picked up by Image. Image did do a sketch cover, and through, I'll even plug them, Third Eye Comics. You're welcome, Third Eye, for the free plug. They were offering sketches and remarks. So this actually arrived before the one on the left did. So I have Make-A-Wish Bro and Make-A-Wish signed and sketched by both. Pretty stoked for the collection right there. Do I need to grade these? Absolutely. This is not going to grade very well. Book looks like it was very handled. I would say it's going to be 8 to 8.5 maybe. They might show kindness because it's a remark. This bad boy has never been opened as far as I'm concerned. This has got to be in the mid to high 9s. So both of these just absolutely skyrocketing in value. With that said, it actually brings me to kind of the topic that I wanted to go over and that I kind of set for myself. One that I didn't even tell Trevor or Doug that I was going to do. And it relates directly to these. So, when a comic book or graphic novel, Steve's like, I just got a fresh shipment of comics today. That's always a good feeling. When a graphic novel or a comic book gets optioned or has been announced, typically there is a rush, and I'm going to pull back the curtain and tell you what you need to look for, what you need to be out for, and how to, in my opinion, and in my actions and what I do, how you collect that item if it is something you want. Now, the first thing. Yeah, I will. This one, so actually, I'm going to answer Lee. Lee, I believe, yeah, this one has that rubbing that happens when comic books rub, that dirt. That one would need a clean job. This one, it's got bad binding corners. Anyway, Nick will probably end up with them, but I digress. Thank you, though. That's a good reminder. I will contact it. I will definitely. We will talk. Let's just leave it at that. We'll talk. We'll get it done. Because those are and actually that ties almost. He tells me a big one. I don't know. He didn't. I'm not going to tell that story. That's a private story. But God bless you, Nick. If you're watching, I love you, buddy. Our limited interaction was adventurous, and even at limited time, I want to tell you, I'm a fan of yours. God bless you, bud. Salute to your health. But that actually segues directly into what I want to talk about. So, you have just heard that a comic book or graphic novel has been optioned by a major company. The first thing, and again, this is just a general guide. The first thing you need to do is decide the most, in my opinion, important piece. Are you doing this for yourself and your collection, or are you doing this to flip it and try to beat the buzz? Those are two exceptionally different mindsets to have. For me, I am collecting these because I love the story. With it being optioned, it's just going to make it more difficult for me to get these. But that's okay. I'm going to take my time. If it's for you, find the price that's right for you. Find the copy that's right for you. Do you want a reader? Do you want one that's pre-graded? Do you want one that is ungraded but looks great picture-wise? If you're trying to flip it, I would highly recommend get a clean copy, one that's going to grade well. Because if it's optioned and it actually turns into a film, that 9.8 is going to be very important moving forward. Many examples. Invincible. Invincible, good comic, adult-oriented, flew mildly under the radar. The hardcore people knew about it. Other people didn't find out about it until it was a cartoon. You could pick up a copy for not much more than cover price in the beginning. Now try to grab a 9.8, you're going to be shelling out some decent cash. Yeah, a reader copy like the AC1 that Lee got to hold in Comic-Con, which still blows my mind. I've got to see an AC1 at another place that I worked, and I want to say the grade was like 1.5. I think it was a 1.5 or it's between 1.5 and 3.5. It was doesn't matter. It was AC1. Back on topic. So if you're going to flip, you're going to want to find the gradable copies. You're going to want to find the SIGs. If it is for you, set yourself a budget. I said I was not going to pay more than X for the preview issue. There were 5 available for sale at that time, and I offered one at a time, waited the 48 hours on eBay. And the second person accepted the offer. That was within my standards. It's great. It worked out well for me. If you are trying to flip, you're going to want to get in early. Unless it doesn't get made, or unless it is a flop of a movie, the quicker you act, the higher the increase is going to be. But if it's for you, set your goals. Set what you want. Me personally, I always grab a reader and an unread copy. One that I can thumb through for story, so I know what it's about, and the other one to keep sealed and be done with it. Lee said, I had the honor of holding 4 different copies of AC1. Ironically, the unslabbed one was probably in the best condition. From the looks of the photo, yeah, that was pretty mint. Lee says it was real. I'll believe him. But man, first glance, I was like, no way that's real. It's too nice. If you are buying to flip, you're going to buy multiple copies. You are going to, let's say, grab 5 copies. Rule of thumb I've always found is 5. 5 seems to be the magic number. You grab 5, you find the best of the 5, you grade that one. The other 4, you wait in the wings. I would not overcommit and grade everything up front, just in case it does flop or does not get made. If you're collecting for yourself, grab a couple of copies. If you feel you need to grade them, you can. There are a lot of collectors, including myself, that really don't grade comics. These 2, I will. Sketch comics, I'm more likely to grade just to keep them sealed and in good condition so that nothing happens to them. A majority of the collectors I've seen, only the major keys get graded, and sketch covers that have artists that are unable to recreate those again, whether it be through the inability to draw or they're just not with us anymore. Lee says, I love that Marvel Comics includes a complimentary digital copy of the comic so you can read it and decide to slab the comic yourself. It is great. I do concur. The next question is, once you've gone through the process of finding the right copies, when do you sell? And this is for the flipper. Obviously, the collector is not going to sell. But if you are flipping, there are 2 points in which you really need to consider it. The moment you get the slab back, again, the earliest that you can get in the game, the better you're going to do. If the early buzz is that the film is good, now, as you know, most movies or shows are leaked to the press. They get to see them weeks to even a month early in some cases. If the feedback is good, you're going to want to hold until it hits its first weekend debut. That is going to put it in the paper more. There's going to be reporting on how many views if it is streaming, or how much money it has raked in if it is in theaters. Those are things that are really going to make a difference. The more it's in the news, the more desirable it becomes. The more people will turn their gaze to eBay or any of the other auction sites looking for it. So I recommend holding until the weekend premiere. Personally, 2 days before premiere, I would put it on a 5-day auction. You can get the people that are in early that really want to get the copy before it comes out to get their bids up. And if it doesn't do so well, you've already got bids lined up that if it expires after the release, you've still got a decent cushion to sit on. I am of the first class that I spoke of. I am a collector. These are not going to leave. I will likely grade the 2 that I have. They're tough to find, and the rarity makes it important to me to have a sealed copy. And as a matter of fact, those will be the first, or excuse me, not the first, but the only 2 graded in my collection. Believe it or not, I don't have many sketch covers, just a remark or 2, which reminds me, I got to get Lee. I got something for Lee to remark. As a matter of fact, I'm going to grab it. It's right over here. Hey, Lee, I've got something else for you to do. Next time I see you, I'm going to hand that to you. And that's kind of in a nutshell. Just talking about optioned items. Yeah, done. I think it's going to be a. I'm thinking of getting a holy ship on there. A second version of the Millennium Falcon. Not the young Lando, but the driving it because I have to save my friend Falcon. Speaking of friend, Craig, are you watching by chance? I still have your Lee Cozy mystery box here, and I would love to open it for you. I mean, I like that idea even better, Lee. Thanks. All right, let me pull up my app real quick. All right, there we go. The difference between you and I, Don, is if you drink while at work, you'll lose a finger, hand, or life. The only thing I'll lose is about 6 or 7 viewers. Salute. Speaking of, how is sunny Lockport, Mr. Don? And while you're discussing that, Sean, how was your con experience? You said you just got back from a con. How'd it go, man? I want to hear about it. Oh, I was just reminded by looking at the screen. So my camera is here. My screen is here. So if you're ever wondering what I'm looking at, it's just impossible to put the screen below the camera. Right here. Nope, right here. Yeah, that's another Val Kilmer original Batman. So for those who are wondering, yep, that is eventually going to be in another break. You picked the wrong night to stop drinking. That's why quitters never win. I mean, Don, you know this. Quitters never win. The key is to balance it with water. Stay hydrated. I don't miss it. So for those who don't know, before I was doing this full time, I was a union worker in a factory. You sent Craig a text. Awesome. I would love to open that. For those who are wondering what it is the comic mystery box that Lee made, containing a sketch card, a signed comic, and a 1 in 3 chance of some original art. You're on your third 12-hour shift? Yeah, you have no idea what it's like outside. It all bleeds together when you're doing that. Yeah, the other one was Dangle, I believe. So yeah, this is the only one that is still remaining from the con. What did Derek get? Derek got your signed first comic and a gouache sketch card. Some Howard the Duck, and a few oldies but goodies. He did not get a recreation. I think we've only seen what, 3? 3 total? We opened what, 10? Something like that? 15? I feel like we opened a lot of them. So there's a pretty good chance that this will have another piece of original art in it, if you want my honest assessment. I think it took us like 3 or 4 to actually get one at the con. I mean, did you get anything cool? Well, they're all cool. So there are a bunch of really awesome hummingbirds right outside my window, and I dig it. Opened about 25? Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm going to tell you, the remaining stock, wherever it is probably pretty loaded. Just saying, just throwing it out there. I want to say it was like 3 or 4. Couldn't be more than 4. I would be stunned if it was more than 4. I can remember 3 pretty well. Might have been 4 though. But 80% positive it was 3, 20% positive it was 4. Now, Lee, what is the next con on your schedule? Would that be Stockton Con? Is that the next one? For those who are wondering, there's a 10-second delay, by the way, between YouTube and Twitch. And it's funny, it seems to flip-flop back and forth. Sometimes one is faster than the other and the other. So Stockton Con is your next one. What's the dates for Stockton Con? I have never done Stockton Con. August 13th and 14th. Oh, that's like 2 weeks away. Wow. You've got work to do, don't you? Let me ask you this. Are you going to have these available at Stockton Con? Because if you do make these available and anybody is in the Stockton area, it would behoove you mathematically to grab one or three. Yeah, you got the Wolverine and the Hulk. And then I believe I saw Stockton Con is one of his favorite shows. The guests are Ron Perlman, James O'Barr, Gray Griffin, and a bunch more. James O'Barr, is that the James O'Barr of The Crow fame? And Ron Perlman, I mean, just pick anything awesome, and Ron Perlman was in it. Creator of The Crow, yeah. Very nice. He was supposed to be at the Niagara Falls Comic Con. I was there all 3 out of the 4 days, or 2 out of the 3 days. And the first time I went looking for him, the table was empty. So I don't know if he ended up showing up or not. I grew up the perfect age for when The Crow came out, as far as film wise. So that was like right in my wheelhouse. Never got into the comics. I admittedly was not, I read comics growing up, but it was a very casual reading. It was never like I had to have certain issues. It wasn't until really Spawn came out. It was really the first one that was like, I have to start getting these. Which is why it was really cool for me to meet Todd McFarlane. Because he was the reason I really got into comics. But the movies were fantastic. The Crow soundtrack was awesome. A lot of underrated mix-ups and mashups and hits on that one. Definitely worth a listen if you enjoyed the movie. A lot of the songs aren't even in the film. They were just mixed specifically for the soundtrack. There's a dope version of For Whom the Bell Tolls. Oh, man. James. What's up, dude? So James Gall saw us on the interwebs. And yeah, the 9 Inch Nail song, and that's what it does. James saw us on the interwebs, saw what we were doing, and was like, oh, I'm in. I want stuff. By the way, James, you should have gotten an email. Your stuff is on the way. It should be scanned in, should have been scanned in today. If it doesn't get scanned in today, it probably will be scanned in Monday morning. But he grabbed a bunch of really great boxes for us. Got some absolutely phenomenal hits. His hit list was spectacular. So big shout out to James. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you coming by and saying hello. But yeah, James was a big member of the family for the San Diego Comic-Con, albeit virtually. Oh yeah, man, they are just as beautiful in person as you can imagine. If you go back to our Instagram, everyone, you can actually see um, the stuff for Peter um, is for James. I believe it was listed under Peter, if I'm not mistaken, right, James? Not to confuse people. So if you hear me shouting out Peter, there you go. Send it yourself. It was Peter. Um, Lee says, Obar used to work for the Rolling Stone magazine. When his Crow comic was optioned, he went around and asked the bands he knew from work if they had any songs he could use for the soundtrack. Wow, that is pretty impressive. Not very often a creator gets to play around with the production side of it once it hits optioned. Usually they'll have the writer hang around and just kind of make comments. If they don't know how to portray a certain scene, they'll kind of ask the writer, "Hey, how do you think this would be portrayed?" But oftentimes the writers are just paid money to go away, and they have somebody punch up the script separately. So the fact that he was able to actually be involved in that is phenomenal. It just really doesn't happen in Hollywood. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I may have been around the block once or twice. He has bands that he had listened to while working on the comic so that it matched the mood of the film, and that it did. I would say the only soundtrack that directly had the same feels as the movie were The Crow and the movie Hackers, featuring a very young Angelina Jolie and Matthew Lillard, one of my favorites, amongst other fantastic actors in the film. Hackers is still one of my favorite still one of my favorite soundtracks. See, it must be right if Lee agrees with me. For those who are not aware, the movie Hackers was yeah, I am. I was a huge Game of Thrones fan until the ending. Um, my previous job, there's many videos of me ranting about how bad D&D screwed up the first series. They were trying to, and this has become fact. They were lined up for the big, was it Netflix deal, $100 million, but they had to end their series to get it. So they, admittedly, the HBO put out a statement, and I recall this vividly, that they wanted 2 more seasons. Um, then the creator said, "Well, we'll do one," and they're like, "Great, we're gonna do then we'll do 12 episodes for the final season," and they're like, "No, we're gonna do like 8." Um, and they just ended it. They knew it was bad because when they said, "What are you gonna be doing?" To celebrate um the ending, the producers actually said, "We're going to be locking ourselves in a closed room without our cell phones, drinking heavily." um it was one of the worst endings ever. It was They scrapped all character development for the sake of closing. They I could go on. I could literally do a whole 3-hour show on my disdain for the end of it because it was, and James, you're right. It was close to being one of the greatest series ever. It was. It was riveting. You wanted to watch every single episode and catch every little detail because it was going to be pulled out in later episodes of what they meant. And the way they ended it, they basically said, F you, watchers, we need to get paid. The irony is it actually cost them their deal. Because if you look, almost everything that was greenlit for them has been canceled. And their $100 million deal was based on development and the production of series, of which I don't think they have any but one. The backlash was too severe. They're not going to recover. That's right. They had a Star Wars deal. And if I'm not mistaken, Steve, you may be able to answer this for me. Weren't they fired from Star Wars? Weren't they removed from that project? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yep. They were all canceled. Yeah. They hid from San Diego Comic-Con that year, deservedly so. They know their actions were selfish. I love Amelia Clarke. God bless her. What she went through during that was amazing. She is a trooper. She is legendary. She's a beautiful person. She's a great actress. But even she couldn't act like she enjoyed the decisions that were made at the end. Because there are a couple of interviews where they're like, hey, how excited are you for the ending? And she kind of looked at the camera and was like, great, best ending ever? Because she knew it was dog doo-doo. Now, obviously, the cast are under contract to say good things. For those who don't know, 85% of the contracts will say you're not allowed to speak ill of your film. Unless you're Nick Cage, he doesn't care. He's going to tell you how he feels regardless. But the character arcs were absolutely destroyed, and she knew it. It was a turd sandwich. There were characters that they literally walked off the stage in season 4 with the promise of them coming back to be useful, and they never brought them back. If you remember the Red Witch or whatever they called them, there were 2 of them. They sent a second one to do some bidding. That story never got completed. Oh, absolutely, Lee. Development deal for Star Wars, so fired is debatable. It was bad. It was really bad. It was super bad. Like super bad. Game of Thrones left such a bad taste in my mouth. The only reason I'm even considering watching House of Dragons is Matt Smith. Oh, absolutely. Matt Smith is my doctor. He's the best. They use the excuse subverting expectations to explain lazy writing. I think lazy is too generous of a term. I believe inept is a little more spot on. It was bad. It was just, hey, let's go get this payday. Let's end this. We were already paid. Little did they know it can go away as fast as it can come. They don't deserve to write commercials. Even. Like, they shouldn't be allowed to produce anything. It wasn't lazy writing, it was sabotage. It really was. They really did sabotage it. I would love, and it is completely possible, although you will need to recast a couple people. I would love for somebody that has a bottomless budget to go, let's do 8 one more time. 7 wasn't great. But they didn't completely destroy everything in 7. 8 really screwed the pooch. I think you could take 7 and salvage it with 8. With a new 8 and ended the way it could have been done. Now, I'm getting angry just thinking about those pompous blanks in the after the episodes clips. Yeah. Hey, they are jerk faces. I don't think that's slander. I think people agree with me there, so it's not slander if it's true. It was bad. The cast knew it. The cast were paid to stay silent about it, but they knew. But here's the thing. Say what you will about how bad it was. Here we are still talking about it, 3 years later? So maybe that's the ultimate gotcha moment for them is they're like, we're going to do something so awful, so disturbing, so displeasing, so repugnant that people are going to be talking about it years from now. And we are going to be laughing all the way to the bank while they're crying in their mead. Or in my case, very peaty Islay Scotch. Lee says it's the same reason I have issues with Star Wars Episode 8. Ryan would make an amazing Star Wars trilogy if it was his own project focused on new or minor legacy characters. Making him the anchor of the film, of the closing trilogy of the Skywalker saga, was such a huge mistake. Lee, I don't know how to delete that for you. But I don't know if you're allowed to say that. If you are, God bless you. I am a little more forgiving of Star Wars than I am of Game of Thrones, because Star Wars had a limited scope to produce within. Oh my goodness. Hermano Jones. ¿Qué pasó ese? ¿Dónde está la novia? So I don't know if you know this, Mondo. And for those who don't know, Mondo Jones, legend. Hello there. Good to see you, man. Hope everything is well. Hope she is well. Hope the family is well. I don't know if you know this, Mondo. I live in California now. I live in Oxnard. So I am officially, as of 2 weeks ago, a transplant Californian. So, just saying. Steve says, Star Wars 7 through 9 has to fall on Kathy Kennedy. As the lead of Lucasfilm, it's her responsibility to see their one flagship is guided correctly. That is true. The Mondo's like, I heard, I saw, the legend is here in CA. Thank you, man, but you've always been here. Yeah, dude, we hit up the San Diego Comic-Con. It was great. Lee's got Stockton Con coming up. There's other cons that we're talking about as DCD collects that I can't spill the beans on yet, but you're going to be seeing a lot more of me soon. Mr. Dr. Jones, Senor Jones, hermano. Yesterday, and I think they're all packed away, unfortunately. They are. I gave you a shout out in yesterday's video, saying if you were here, you would absolutely love this. But we were opening up some ridiculous things, and it was awesome. I'm going to make you watch the video yesterday so you can see. But yeah, you were thought of. I'll give you a hint. It was Padres cards. But yeah, we had a good time. You did see that, like Kobe and the Mac Jones. Yeah, that was funny. That was truly funny. Lee says Kennedy gave Ryan a contract clause that said he could do anything he wanted without studio interference. That was a huge mistake since no one could enforce continuity. Yeah, that's a turd sandwich wrapped up in burnt hair. If you ask me, very few people should be allowed those types of contracts. I know that what's his name? John Favreau has a contract similar to that. For what he does. And who was not Bryce, somebody else, one of the directors. I know Taika does. Taika can do whatever he wants. Basically, anybody that was involved in Mando could do whatever they wanted to, according to the roundtables that they did before those. I think it's a great idea if you have somebody that, is true to character and somebody that is a student of the original films and or books that they're based off of. But you'd have to be able to answer a 100-question quiz with a 90% accuracy for them to give that to you. There should be a written test that you have to take, or you have to write a dissertation on why you should be allowed to do what you need to do. I was chatting with one of Steve and Maddie's friends. I believe his name was Josh. Terrible with names. I think it was Josh. He was involved with Love and Thunder, which I love. Not everybody is as jazzed about it as I am. And I got to chat with him briefly about it, about my favorite parts. Correct, it is Josh. See, I've had a lot of concussions, but obviously not enough to completely erase. Dave Filoni, I'm pretty sure he has that clause. Dave Filoni, George Lucas gave him the stamp of approval. And it was said that the only person that has a similar grasp of the universe, other than George Lucas, is Dave Filoni. Which is why he's put in charge of so much. But Josh was chatting about seeing Taika in action. I'm not going to tell some of the stories. Yeah, there you go, Lee. Does now. He's the creative executive officer. There you go. But he said Taika was pretty much like, they would bring things, hey, this is just queued right up. You should knock this out of the park. And Taika's like, nope, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to do this. And it turned out great. Josh was cool. I did like him as well. There was a lot of hugging involved. Because there was a scene in Love and Thunder where I actually got emotional. And it's not the scene you'd think is, honestly, I don't know, maybe my medication is off. But I got excited talking about it. He's like, oh, that's time. And we started hugging and jumping up and down. It was a good moment. But it's cool to see people that were there on set and got to be part of it in one way or another. When Dave Filoni last saw George, he was but the learner. Now he is the master. That's right. He went from Padawan to master. Yep. Well, I'm going to assume if you texted Craig is a no-show. That's okay. We still love him. All right, let's get off the topic of how bad Game of Thrones was. What else do we have? What else can we go over and chat about? I have to find a way to get a prompt maybe above the camera so it at least looks like I'm looking at you when I'm trying to read. Now it just looks like I'm staring off into space. Hello, Mel. Hello, James. Mel and James, Mrs. the Breaker and the Baby Breaker, Little Man Breaker, hit the pool today. I haven't even seen our pool. The apartment complex we're in is supposed to have a really nice pool, so they got to hang out poolside. You love this story about how Taika tells about how he put a clause in his contract that he can do rewrites to scripts. Is that the one where they gave him the copy of the contract and he went in and edited it himself to give himself the ability to do that and then signed it and sent it in? You laid in the cabana. Nice. Any awesome pool boys? I heard California is known for its pool boys. They're also prevalent in Florida, but usually just West Palm Beach. That's why you have locked PDFs. That's a rookie move. Knowing him, he probably just like scribbled it in a margin and then signed the bottom. Lee says he asked if he could do the voice of Korg, who only had a bit part when Thor first goes into the gladiator pens. Correct. Oh, BT Dub. I was shown a little Easter egg today that I thought was brilliant and missed by 90% of the people who watched it. I can say this because it is not going to spoil anything. If you've seen it, you'll know the scene. If you haven't seen it, keep an eye out. There is a scene that is actually in the trailer where Thor is giving a speech, and in the background, what's his name with the blades for arms? Goodness gracious. I knew his name 5 minutes ago. In the meantime, Lee says after they said yes to the voice, he rewrote the script. Meek, thank you. He rewrote the script and made Korg a supporting character. The execs from Marvel were like, damn, this Korg guy is everywhere. He is everywhere now. Meek is in the background scribbling on a whiteboard. They show you him on the whiteboard. I want to say it's 2.5 seconds. You get to see him in front of the whiteboard drawing. Not spoilers, but spoilers. He's actually drawing the storyboard of the entire film. If you look closely, he drew the film. All of it. The ending, the beginning, the middle. It's a great Easter egg. He does have great penmanship for a guy who has limited appendages. For those who have seen it, go back and look at the scene. You will know what I'm talking about because it is basically hieroglyphics of the entire movie. For those who haven't seen it, just watch the movie, go back at the end, and then see it. You won't understand what he had wrote until you've seen it happen, and then you can reference the little glyphs in that scene. But it's there. He actually lays out the entire movie a third of the way into the film, or a quarter of the way into the film. That's hilarious. But yeah, really cool Easter egg that was pointed out to me. Give me 1 second. Okay. Just answering a text about some of the items we have available. Debating if you want to buy a Star Trek break for Maria. Let me tell you, Lee. I'm going to look. Actually, hold on. Let me show you. Let's hope this button works. And there it is. There are, looks like 15 available. 16 available. 16 available. Of those 16, I would like to point out the sealed box is still in there. The binder with the inserts is still in there. The empty display box is still in there. The Julie Newmar auto is still in there. So if there are 16 left, you have a 1 in 4 chance of nailing one of the remaining 4 big hits that are in there at the reduced price of $99.99. For those who are into numerology, number 4 is the next one available. Steve says, for those who saw the movie and enjoyed it, there is a wonderful hardback collection that this movie was largely based from. And there you go. Grab it. I liked it. People disagree with me, but I put it in one of my top Marvel films based on the fun alone and the soundtrack and the emotion it evoked in me. So Lee, if you were deciding 4 would be your number, unless somebody beats you to it. But as it stands, it's about a 1 in 4 chance of hitting a hit. 2 out of the 6 big ones are gone, but a quarter of the boxes are gone. So still pretty good odds. Better than most competing mystery boxes. In addition, for those who remember the Kaiser Tillman team-ups, or excuse me, versus, they sold out extremely fast. We do have the team-ups. They are available. They are still 2 sketch cards in there as well. 3 of the hits are still available. And we have only 13 boxes. So about 1 in 4.3 chance on those. What's left? Ghoul Gallery available as well. Only 10 of those remain. By the way, for the first time ever, I got to meet Maria, Lee's better half, at the con, and she is as delightful as he says she is. Just wanted to put that on camera. Trying to think, there was one other thing that I wanted to recap today. Oh, by the way, speaking of Easter eggs, those are there for a reason. You may be seeing those soon. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Speaking of things you may be seeing soon, who here is a fan of album art? We're talking 60s, 70s, 80s vinyl album art. Do we have any fans? You splurged on Bowman. Lee, I didn't even know you liked baseball. But thank you. I was actually watching this stuff get opened earlier today. Drew Struzan did a great album cover for Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Let me ask you this before I jump into Lee's box, which I instantly regret saying out loud on camera. Let's take a little poll. What iconic albums historically would be something that you would want to see recreated in original art? Not to tip my hand, but if there was something to be done, what would you, the consumer, our friends, our family, our loved ones, what would be cool for you to see recreated? I am going to start. I think Sgt. Pepper would be a cool original art recreation. Lee is said, I said it again. Steve, I love it. Steve's like Sgt. Pepper. That's exactly what Steve, buddy. Listen, we need to hang out more. I have a feeling we're a lot alike. Except for you're a little bit cooler than I am. He's talking about some Jimi Hendrix, too. Who else you got? Everybody jump in. Help. That was a good one, too. Weezer's Blue album. I got a great Weezer story for you. Weezer was the first ever concert I went to in 1995. At that point, they only had one real album. I'm also going to throw Bat Out of Hell. Bat Out of Hell would be good. Oh, which one by Guns N' Roses? Are we talking about Appetite for Destruction? Are we talking about the Spaghetti Incident? Chinese Democracy? Because, you know, everybody owns a copy of Chinese Democracy. Use Your Illusion 1 or 2? Appetite would be good. D, all of the above. Yes. Mondo says the answer is yes. There it is. Oh, Steve, by the way, you are in for a treat if you haven't seen his Jimi Hendrix piece. It's bonkers. Metallica. You mean the Black Album? the completely black on black album? That big. It's just, the artist just going to pour black paint on the thing and be like, there we go. We're done. And then use this stick to make the impression of the snake on it. Honestly, now that I think about it, yeah, it is a pretty good idea. First concert was Three Dog Night, Earth, Wind, and Fire, or Kool and the Gang. It's modern art. All right, so Trevor is like, stop talking about album covers and get to the dang baseball. It's in my name. It's what I'm here for. All right, so we're gonna put a pin in that. If you're in our Discord, go ahead and leave your album ideas in the Discord for things that we haven't gone over. In the meantime, Lee, we're gonna pull you some James Wood, not the actor, and Khalil Watson's, because those are the two big gets in 2022 Bowman First Edition. Good luck, man. Bon chance. Trevor is going to scream if I hit something that is awesome, not named Khalil or Jimmy Woods. I've got my sleeves and top loaders ready. Go Padres, he says. So one thing you may not know, Mondo, is I've actually sworn off baseball. I have given up on my Astros. I just simply can't support a team based on the amount of evidence that has been done. I've gotten rid of most of my Astros cards. It is heartbreaking, but it's true. May the call. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, what just happened? You may not be aware of the significance. Armando Jones has just blessed you with the Quan. For those who know, the Quan is an ancient force of power bestowed upon certain people of tremendous luck, given by Mondo Jones himself, and has been proven to be 100% effective in all sample sizes. So based on the fact that it has just been given, you can guarantee a James Woods in here because Mondo wills it so. Let's get down to business. Bon chance, mon frère. Watch. It's going to be a Woods in pack one. Oh, by the way, I didn't have time to switch out the cameras, so we're going to do the best we can. Verdugo. Ellie De La Cruz. Here's a name, too. Guzman. Justin Thompson. Justice Thompson, that is a light blue. Jose Pastrami. Sugar. Adrian Sugastay. That's how I'm pronouncing it. That's how he's going to pronounce it. Max Muncy is good. That is true. The other Max Muncy, believe it or not, there are two Max Muncies. Brett Batty still working his way around. Shailen Polanco. Quintana. That's Andre Lara. Pretty much anything numbered here is good. Numbered can be few and far between. Swinsky. There's Jimmy Wood. I told you. Our man Mondo delivered the Quan, which delivered the wood. Yeah, I'm going to leave that statement as is. Doesn't need an edit. It's exactly how I intended it. C.J. Abrams, Adley, former #1 overall. DeCastro, Spencer Torkelson, also a numero uno, albeit not his first. There's a Jay Dominguez. I mean, he needs to work on his batting a little bit, but still a fan favorite. This dude's trash. There is wood in your box. And yeah, man, but don't worry. I did wash my hands today. Coalition. Doo-doo. Oh, I like that this one is upside down. That's going to mean something good. CJ. Or it's going to mean nothing. That too. Baez. Benny Bailey. There is the junior Acuna. Shailen Polanco. Tyler Sodstrom. Lee is playing the numbers game. Oh, there's Khalil Watson. You got both of the ones you wanted. He says the reason I bought it is it's $350 here, but $450 to $600 on other sites. Yeah, that's a good reason to do it. So you got one of each of the ones you were looking for. The rest is gravy. Let's get lots and lots of gravy. I like gravy. Did someone say gravy? I did. It happened. Darren Baker. Julio. Jose Rod. Cespedes. And Benny Montgomery is another one to keep an eye on. What's going on, Brent? How you doing, buddy? We were just talking about Stockton Con. Elijah Tatis. He is also of the Tatis tree. While he may not have done a ton yet, keep an eye on the other Tatis. Harry Ford. Another one to keep an eye on. Blaze Jordan. Not his first Bowman. Oh, we were just talking about that. Is Lee's next big get is Stockton Con. And how much he loves it. Oh, I like this color. A little bit of yellow. Let it be good. Out of 75, Bobby Martin Jr., his first Bowman. There you go. Doing a little house cleaning. There we go. Lee with the woohoo. Yeah, numbered is good in these, man. Numbered is very good. There's another Acuna. I see orange. I see a Darren Baker, numbered 1 out of 25 orange. What's up, Washington? Uno. Day 25. Spanglish on that one. There you go. SummerSlam. Dig it. Julio. Orange Woods. How about a Black Woods or a Gold Woods or a red one? I think this is dark blue. And that's going to be out of $150. 37 out of 150. Jonathan Clace. For those who watched yesterday, we had a Topps first opened, and it was a hot box chock full of rainbow parallels. It was bonkers. There's Acuna. Ooh, this pack was already opened. Maybe that's a good sign. Yeah, or not. There's Montgomery. Leonard. All right, we're due. This pack right here. Diaz. Harry Ford. De La Cruz. That's a good one. There's Max. I told you we were due. Sometimes you just get a feeling. Sometimes you just get a feeling. You want to rub bourbon for good luck? I'll ask him. Is he like a Charizard? Yeah, that's exactly what he's like. Ooh, this one doesn't want to open. This is where you find the 101s. Frazier. All right, last pack, brother. There's another Muncie for you. 2 Muncies, 1 box. Yeah, I'm going to say that went well. You got 2 Muncies, a 150 Clace, a 25 Baker, 75 Martin, a Tatis, a Watson, and a Wood. You can't ask for much more out of a box than right there. So congratulations, man. In addition to those niceties, we've got some extras pulled, some light blues and notable names. So overall, good haul, man. Congrats. What's up, nerd of many faces? We're just opening some baseball cards. Oh, thank you, Brent. You're welcome, bud. Brent, I appreciate it, but I don't want to be the king of breaking. The king has all the responsibilities of the kingdom. I want to be the prince of breaking. The king is responsible for everything. Everything falls on the head of the king. Everybody is gunning for the king. But the prince, he gets to do whatever he wants, he has no responsibility, and gets to tell all the ladies, hey, someday I will be king. So I would like to be the prince of breaking. We'll let the king keep the target on his back. All right, man. Sager's beautiful. Yeah. Yep, that is my I actually have my badge hanging on the wall. That was the first person to sign my badge this year. There you go. I'm going to give you guys a free piece of advice. When you see on TV shows and movies people running down the lanes of bowling alleys and sliding and knocking out all of the pins, what they don't show you is the quarter-inch thick oil slathered across the entire thing to the point where you come up completely soaked in oil. Don't do it. It's nothing like TV. The more you know. I'm not going to tell you how I know. But let's just say I was a very colorful teenager. All right, Lee has broken the ice. Who is next? We have one more box of Bowman First. We have 3 more boxes of Platinum Anniversary. And we have a handful of each of the DCD Collects boxes as well. And an unlimited amount of love from yours truly that is completely free of charge. If you know, awesome things are your thing. Lee, do you want me to send these to you, or do you want me to keep them here for you? In the next month? All right. Oh, okay. If you do, I am going to bring my Hellboy fist here. We'll talk. If you do end up stopping on the way. Let me find out. I'm going to answer my own question right here. Oh my God, Stockton is so far away, it's not even funny. Stockton is like 6 hours from my house. That's way too far. I was debating on going, but I'm definitely not driving 6 hours. Oh, I know, Brent. It's easy for you. It's not easy for me. All right, what else do we have? We have Spoke head to Palm Springs. All right, let's figure this out. Palm Springs is only 2.5 hours from my house. That's reasonable. To me, anything within 3 hours is reasonable. Disney is about 2 hours away. Universal is about an hour and 20 away. San Diego, it's over 3. That's a bit much. 9 hours if you swing by Santa Barbara. Yeah, don't swing by Santa Barbara then. Take the fast route. Of course, you're talking to a guy who just drove 3 13-hour days to get from New York to California in a box truck. Thankfully, my brother-in-law is with me. My brother-in-law is also moving to Simi Valley, and he's going to be driving a similar Florida to California drive. Wait to go to Universal until after Nintendo Land opens. Yeah, hell yeah. That would be awesome. Seven hours if you avoid Santa Barbara. Yeah, I don't think those 2 hours are that important, man. I don't think there's anything here important enough. Legoland is on the actually. We did go by Legoland. Legoland I think was like 2 hours. Yeah, Legoland was 2 hours 20 minutes. He maybe we did some of 66. Honestly, 66 was not the fastest route. The original Route 66 actually contains a lot of back roads. The excuse me, I believe 44 is the newest road highway, and that uses some of 66 that incorporates into it. But for the most part, the only time we took 66 is when it was a detour, because we shot straight down. We took the southern route from New York. We shot all the way down to Missouri, and then across Missouri through Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and such. And it did weave us in and out. Anytime there was heavy traffic on the main road, it would reroute us to the 66 off-road. I'm near Ventura. I'm just a little south of Ventura. Oxnard is between Ventura and LA. Oxnard, we are told, is the big up-and-coming area. They're turning a lot of the commercial agriculture into housing. New Hall? Nice. Yeah. So, we dig it, man. You can make it to Portland in 16 hours. Oh. After doing it, there is a possibility I could be helping my brother-in-law with his drive since he was so kind to help me with mine. I may have another 3 days of 13-hour driving ahead of me. It was a cool road trip. I'm not going to lie. Me and Lewis had a good time. We had fun. Maybe fun is not the word. But we had a good time with the drive. It wasn't too much. We split the day in roughly 6-hour days, or 6-hour blocks of driving. So it wasn't overwhelming. We got decent hotels. We didn't go bargain hotel. Like we spent the extra $25 to get a nice hotel. And it was worth it because it came with a free breakfast, a good breakfast, which saved us, $25 on getting breakfast. So in the end, rule of thumb, get the better hotel. If it's $25 or less, it's worth it to get the breakfast. It will save you. Plus whatever we could stuff in our pockets and steal for the road. Food-wise. Strictly food-wise. Although I accidentally did take a washcloth that I hadn't realized was stuck to my shirt. So, yeah. Hotel in Missouri, you know the one. I'm sorry. I have your washcloth. Actually, I threw out the evidence. I don't have it. You can't find it. Search me, I dare you. All right, everyone. Does anybody want anything else? Rue was like, yeah. Half cringe, half smile. I feel that way on the inside, too. It is 7:47 Pacific, which means it's 10:47 Eastern. Some world peace? Me too. Enough of the fighting. We're all in it together. I always say that. What do you wish for your birthday? World peace. Mondo, I would only recommend jumping into our series if you absolutely love original art and great values. If you hate original art and are determined to get ripped off, then don't buy our product. But if you want original art coming directly from the artist, supporting the artist, at a value that is pretty unfathomable, then yes, you definitely want to get into our products. Brent, you got that right. I still wake up at 6:30 every morning. Today I was up at 5:30. He's like, I'm from Palm Springs. We do art. Yeah, that's right. NFL games at 10 a.m. I'm not going to be used to that. That is going to be like on Sunday. I try to sleep in as much as I can, but I'll have to get up at 9 to get ready for. I got to get my Zubas on, my Buffalo Bills Zubas. I have to get my Jim Kelly Platinum jersey. I have to make my queso. And otherwise begin the ritual. Yeah, Doug's like, no Zubas. So, Doug, a little bit of backstory for those who don't know. Doug was very kind. Doug has invited me to the Rams-Bills game, week 1. And I told him, thank you. It's very kind of you. I would love to go. But as a card-carrying member of the Bills Mafia, he needs to understand I have to wear Zubas. I don't care if it's 105 degrees. I don't care if California is very opinionated on what you wear and demands nothing but high fashion. The Bills Mafia trumps all of that. Zubas will be worn. I'm not ashamed of it. I will take every insult and comment with a smile because I love the Bills and I got to wear my uniform. Packers fans wear cheeseheads. Raiders fans wear shoulder pads and spikes. Browns fans wear whatever food they were eating before the game on their face and jersey. Bills fans, we wear Zubas and throw each other through flaming tables. But I won't do that here. I will simply stick to the Zubas. Just saying. Might as well be wearing Dolphins shorts from the 80s. That's right. They won't mock me for being a Bills fan. They'll just mock me for fashion sense, and I'm okay with that. Brent, I got to ask you, of your 6 Browns jerseys, how many of them have ketchup and or mustard stains? Tell the truth. The world is watching. Steve, are you a Raiders fan? And Brent's like, none. None. I don't have a hole in my lip. My favorite jersey ever, Doug says, is the Browns jersey with all of the names of the quarterbacks listed on it. It's brilliant, and it looks like a CVS receipt. Steve, unfortunately, no, man, not unfortunately. Listen, the Raiders have a quarterback. The Raiders have a core of receivers that are pretty much unrivaled in the NFL. You have Carl Nassib at D end. God bless him. If you can get your defense and special teams close to the level of your offense, you've got nothing to be worried about except the rest of your division. I have nothing bad to say about Raiders fans. The black hole is a sight to be seen. In my experience, I've never had issues with Raiders fans. Philly fans, on the other hand, tough crowd. It has been a hard 40 years. Yeah, AFC West is a beast. It is. It really is. It's a bad luck of their... Honestly, truth be told, they should reconsider balancing the NFC a little bit. The AFC, in my opinion, is fairly balanced. But the NFC could use a nice divisional shakeup. The Bills will be on fire this year. We are Vegas's number one bet to go to the Super Bowl and win. We have everybody back plus some. It is an exciting season to be a Bills fan again. Last year was a fluke. It was a communication error that cost us the 13 seconds. Had the communication, for those who don't know, I will say a little bit. The Buffalo Bills lost the AFC Championship game, the divisional game, to KC after scoring with only 13 seconds left. There was an error that happened. They were supposed to squib kick the ensuing kickoff. And at the time, the coach, Sean McDermott, took all the onus and blame on himself. Come to find out, the special teams coach huddled the special teams. I will raid you, Lee. Consider it done. The special team coach huddled the special teams and said, we're squibbing it. A squib kick, at its absolute worst, will chew 4 seconds off of a clock. At its best, a solid 10. Unfortunately, Tyler Bass, our kicker extraordinaire, the man with the big boom leg, wasn't in that huddle. He was practicing kicking. So he never got the signal that they were squibbing. And he kicked it deep, ensuring KC had a full 13 seconds to tie the game. As you know, they did. And then won it in overtime. I can tell you that fluke will not happen again. The Buffalo Bills KC playoff game, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, is considered one of the greatest playoff games in history. It is right up there with a comeback. It is right up there with the Ravens-Colts, where Peyton Manning and Joe Flacco aired out the third and fourth quarter in an unprecedented just absolute bomb manner. And it's a tough loss, but we own it. It happens. The OT rule has changed because, not solely because of the KC Bills game, but the KC Bills game was the straw that broke the camel's back to make that an edit. What's up, Hellbolt? I love you, man. He is. We're going to raid in a little bit. I'm wrapping it up right now. It is almost 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern. So I will wrap it up if there's no other orders. And there isn't. Steve says, DC, we are going out to dinner, and I keep delaying Maddie because of this game. When they scored with 13 seconds left, I said, we're good, and I left. We met our friends and saw that you lost. Brutal. It was. It was. The other factor to that game, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Bills fan. This is actually, it was very monumental game in football history because it is the catalyst for the rule change. It also shows why the prevent defense is a steaming pile of turd. Something that was implemented that shouldn't have been. But I digress. Enough football. We are going to raid Lee. Give me a second. Only prevents a win is correct. That is the saying. Give me a moment so I can jump in and we can raid. I will hang out. Tuck game. So, oh yeah, that's right. The Tuck game. Oh, give me a second. I love how he said it might have been a fumble. Yeah, we know, Tom. All right, give me a second. We're going to raid. I'm actually going to hang out a little bit. Not long, but I will hang out a little bit. Absolutely. All right, Doug. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, we're going to go raid Lee. I'm going to hang out a little bit with you. I'm going to shut down our stream, but I am going to remain in the chat for a bit, in Lee's chat, so that we can talk about some of the art and maybe why he's drawing them. Hint, hint. But before that, I want you to know something that is never wavered and you can bank on every single time I see you. And that is, I love each and every one of you. I do. Whether you're watching live or on repeat, thank you. None of this is possible without you. There's many things that you could be doing on a Saturday night. And the fact that you're watching us is humbling. And I appreciate it dearly. Please take care of yourselves and each other, because we got to look out for each other if no one else will. Be safe, and I will see you again. I believe we're going to be live again on Thursday. We may post some videos beforehand, so keep an eye out on DCD Collect's Instagram and YouTube and Twitch channels. Subscribe if you haven't already. Get the alerts. Actually, you can't sub yet, but get the alerts. Follow us so you can see when we're on, and we can continue doing this great time. With that said, let's raid Lee and see what amazing work he's doing. All right, I love you all. Be safe, and I will see you next week.